everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got another better report here for you. And real quick, just so everybody's on the same page, I broke my headset, so I'm using the microphone on my laptop monitor or whatever. So if I sound a little distorted or quiet or whatever, I apologize. Until I get a new headset, this is just the way it's going to have to be. It's been a wild holiday. What can I tell you? Anyway, I'm back, and I've got a battle report here for you. Number 53. It's a 5,000 point battle. I'm practicing with a new list. I'm trying to get ready for Adepticon in March, so I'm trying to get a list set up. This is a version 1.3 list, because as far as I know, they're using 1.3. I don't see why they wouldn't, but if anything changes, so will I. But it is I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus Sex Panther of the Demon Legions. I'm getting a lot of demon games in. It's just the way the coin is falling, the dice is falling, the luck is. And I don't mind. I like playing against this guy because he's a good opponent and I like a good challenge. So this is a hell of a game. Sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and there have been some changes. I am playing a Wild Heart list, which I'm excited about. Here are my character choices. I have a Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Wild Heart big name, an Ogre Crossbow. He's my general. And I gave him the Razor Blade, the Armor of Fortune, the Rock's Charm, and he's on his Tusker still. And I named him Beast Mode, because if I keep this list, I plan on getting a new model for him, and I'm excited about that. And I've decided to name his new Tusker Beast Mode, and there's really nothing to stop that. So, yeah. I have another Mammoth Hunter. This is Gnome Runner, and I'm going to call him that just because I like the name, and a buddy of mine is called that. Until I think either a better name, or I keep this one. Whatever happens first. He's got an Ogre Crossbow. I gave him the Sword of Strength, the Lucky Shield, the Talisman of Greater Shielding, Headhunter, and he's on the War Teddy Tusker, because it's just, I like this model too. I want to get more models. I've got a third Mammoth Hunter. This one's on foot. He is Khan. He's my BSB. He's got an Ogre Crossbow, the Obsidian Sword, Hardened Shield, Divine Icon, and Troll Eater. In my 4,500 point list, I know this is a 5,000 point list, I only had, or what's it called? My opponent only had a 5,000 point list, so I added the Divine Icon on this guy and 2 Scratapults to this list. But other than that, it's pretty much my first attempt at an Adepticon list, and I'm pleased with it. So yes, Khan is still in it now. He's a hunter instead of a Khan, which might actually be better. We'll see. And of course, my list would not be complete without my Shaman Skaz. Skaven and AZ. He's got +2 spells. I took a hit on the spells, but I had to drop 500 points from somewhere. He's still got the Demonic Heart. He's got the Charm of Cursed Iron, and he's using Shamanism. Gave him the Charm of Cursed Iron because he's going to be in my big brick of Tribesmen now. So, because I can't put a Hunter in there. And I want to try a little something different. So, Skaz has to step it up. For my core choice, I have a unit of 11 tribesmen. I screwed up when I made this list. I did not realize that Wild Heart had gone up to 20% core minimum, so I am below my core minimum, and that's my fault. But the good old boys are still in here with Full Command, Iron Fist, and the Banner of Discipline. Unfortunately, this list is illegal, and don't worry, and I play one more game with this list, which is a team game, well, so I guess not really this list. And then I have already fixed my list so that it is street legal, and yeah, I apologize for the math failure. Starting off my special choices, I have my Saber-Toothed Tiger, Bow Wowzer. I have my mandatory unit of 6 Scrappling Trappers, the Favored Pets. And I have a unit of 5 Yeti now, Wolves in Cheap Clothing. They're no longer Skazaspasis for the time being, and no, they don't have the banner anymore. I'm using these models because I love them. I think they're better Yetis than Tribesmen, although I like them as both. And I want to try Yetis. With the Hunter in there, they have light troops, which means they basically move like skirmishers. So I'm trying them out. Plus, Strength 5, 5 up armor. I mean, -1 leader or -1 initiative. They're better than Tribesmen. They're more expensive, but, you know, I'm going to give them a shot, see what I can do with them. Also, since I can't take Merc Vets in a Wild Heart list, somebody donated some Tusker Cav to me, and so I have a unit of 4 Tusker Cavalry now, with Musician, Banner. I'm trying with Iron Fist and Light Armor, although my gut says I want Great Weapons. Special thanks to Matt R., I won't say his last name, for sending me the Tuskers. I really, really appreciate it. Love the models, and I think you're going to be pleased with how they do in this game. All right, now in the powder keg category, I don't have these in my regular 4,500 point list, but in order to make up 5,000 points, two Scratapults are 460 points total, and I figured I'd throw this in there. The other 40 points came by adding the Divine Icon onto Khan. So I have a couple of Scratapults in this game. I would love to have taken Thunder Cannons. Unfortunately, that's illegal in a Wild Heart list. For my Chain Beast section, of course, I still have my Frost Mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of Ogre Crossbows and a guys he tows around, but damn it, he's the star. I love this guy. And then I was able to add in the Rock. He is part of my 4,500 point list, which I'm very excited about. Elf Eater is going to hopefully eat many elves. The Rider has a lance, and I have named him Shy after Shyhammer. And his job is just to kick ass and take names. In this game, I don't have the model that I plan on using. However, I do have him now. He's all dolled up, he's all painted up, and not this battle report, not the next one, but the one following that. Hopefully, Battle Report 55, you'll get to see the model that I use, and I'm very excited to show it. Shown him to Shyhammer, he seemed pleased, so that's a good sign. Anyway, that's going to do it for my list. Coming up next is my opponent's list. I'm going to play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like to see what he took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. And here's deployment. So I just deployed. I mean, I rolled off one, he chose sides, I deployed first, and I just put all my stuff down. I don't honestly care where his stuff goes. Whatever he's going to pit me up against, he's going to pit me up against. There's really nothing I can do about it. So as you can see, I did my meat in the middle and a little bit on the flanks. I have the tribesmen with, what's it called, Skaz in there. The good old boys. I've got Rufus and Elf Eater on the hill. In the middle of there is one of the Scratapults. Rufus and Elf Eater, their job is going to be to get down there and run into anything they can. I'm not holding them back. I'm not going to try to stop them from doing anything. I'd love to see the Rock get into his Crushers. However, I'm pretty sure the Crushers could take him. But you know what? If I get the opportunity, I get the opportunity. The, what's it called? Trappers are just outside the hill because I couldn't get them within 12 inches of anything. Or not the hill, the forest there. So I moved them out there. I knew I would go first, and I'll just move into the forest and trap it. The idea was to destroy his Crushers with dangerous terrain checks. Little did I know at the time, though, that he had the Stalker standard, and the whole idea was complete garbage. I got my Yeti with Khan right there on the left side, followed by, that's Lord Tremendous. It's a proxy model for the moment, but that's him. I've got another Scratapult on the far left side. The idea here was I was hoping that he would commit some of his forces to the far left corner where I could ignore it. You know, if he takes out a Scratapult, so be it. Unfortunately, he put his big crazy Scourge of Wrath over there, so that hurts. I've got the Tusker Cav and Lord Tremendous, or I'm sorry, not Lord Tremendous, Gnome Runner on the right side there. Their job, their hope anyway, was if they get little attention since they're movement 8, their job is to go forward, sweep the right flank, and meet in the middle, hopefully in the flank, and just overrun and bow. And hopefully table the guy by turn 3. That's it for deployment. That's my strategy, and, well, let's see how well it worked. Here's top of 1 after movement, and as you can see, I'm really afraid of the Scourge of Wrath on the left flank there. I'm not gonna lie. The further away from the Scourges, the further up I move. There's a nice little wave there of fear. there's your chart. Anyway, Gnome Runner and the Tusker Cav move up on the right flank. I don't care if I get charged by any of that stuff. Those 5 Slaughterers on the right side, those are proxies for Furies of my opponents. That's why they're skirmished out like that, in case anyone was confused. So yeah, my hope is that he keeps them right there so that the Cav can charge them, destroy them, and overrun into the big demon engine, and hopefully kill that thing as well. I don't remember exactly how tough it is at the time. I know now, and I understand that my idea is flawed, but, well, you'll see what happens. The good old boys, Rufus and Bow Wowser, move up just to see how far the rest of his stuff moves up. Respectable distance, though. Elfeater moves up just 7. I was a little worried about the Scourge getting an easy charge, or the Crushers hitting the Trappers and an overrunning into Elfeater, and that would suck all of his power. Most of his power is in his 3d6 strength 7 impact hits, so I really want to get those off if I have to put him in combat, which I do. I leave the Yetis off a little bit so that the Trappers can flee if the Crushers decide to go into the forest. Again, the idea is to force dangerous terrain checks. That will never happen, but I didn't know that at the time. Meanwhile, Tremendous and the Scratapult stay in the back, and they're going to shoot at stuff this turn and see where that damn Scourge Wrath goes, because that's really going to be what determines my strategy for the rest of the game. Anyway, that's it for movement. During the magic phase, mostly to try to pull out his Dispel dice because I was trying to get a Totemic Summon on the table, I get Swarm of Insects off on his Furies, and I'm able to pop 1, which, hey, that's not bad. And then my Scratapult hits on the second hit, the secondary, like, partial hit or whatever on his Slaughterers, and I kill 4 of them, I think, which, not terrible, all things considered. I was quite pleased. I did a lot more wounds than that, but he made a lot of saves, so I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. With nothing else going on in my turn, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and there is some. His Scourge of Wrath is not afraid of anything and comes forward his full movement. As you can see, I'm screwed. I know it at this point. I have to send Lord Tremendous in there because that's the only way I'm going to get my impact hits. I can't send anything else because he's just going to issue a challenge, which I won't be able to refuse, and then everything else that's in there will just have to break and hope not to get run down by the damn thing when it wins combat inevitably. So, Tremendous is getting sacrificed. His Crushers do charge my Trappers. I flee. I get away. They run into the forest, and I go, haha, dangerous terrain. He goes, haha, Stalker Standards. And I went, aww. So that sucked, but good on my opponent. His dogs just move calmly into the forest, don't require any dangerous terrain. His Slaughterers hold back a little bit. They don't really come forward at all. His Furies, he misjudged it, I think. They came up to kind of block the Cav, but really with such a wide frontage it was going to be difficult to do, so my Cav are going to slam into the Furies and easily have the angle to hit the Demonic Engine. Whether or not they actually get it, you'll see. And that's really it. The cannon just kind of repositioned to shoot at my Scratapult, and that's it for his movement. There's a better picture of my Trappers getting away from the Crushers, and the Crushers waving the banner at all the dangerous terrain stuff, and it works. He has no magic phase, so we go straight into shooting, and his cannon misfires. Oh man, did I get lucky. He rolls on a chart and rolls a 5, which means he takes a wound with no saves, and the shot is debunked, which I'll take, hands down, almost every time. Then his Demonic Engine shoots at the Tribesman and puts a couple of wounds on the unit, which sucked. And then we went over the top of 2. There are charges, because there has to be. Lord Tremendous does charge a Scourge of Wrath. If nothing else, he's very brave. Stupid, but brave. Actually, I really didn't have a choice. It was either I charge him and at least get my D3 impact hits, or eat hot death when he gives it to me. Then my good old boys charge his Slaughterers and actually made it. I was very pleased about that. I thought about sending the Elfeater into his Hellhounds, but I was afraid I wasn't going to make it, and I was also afraid that that leaves me wide open to a flank charge from his Crushers, which I'm not ready for yet, so I decided against it. I moved my Yetis up, but the Trappers do rally. I moved the Yetis up, tried to get them away from the Crushers, because once again, I forgot that they have light troops and can move however they want, so I wheeled and everything like that. It's going to take some adjustment. I'll get it eventually. My Scratapult, I moved over to the right to get a better angle on some stuff. I do realize that he's probably just going to get charged by Discourage of Wrath, but that's fine. He'll be way over there instead of where the meat of the army is. It is what it is. Elf Eater ends up just shifting over to the right. Rufus moves up to slow down the Slaughterers. The Tusker Cav charge the Furies, and if I can destroy them, which I'm pretty sure I can, and overrun at least 8 inches, I can slam into his Demonic Engine. So I'm hoping there. Meanwhile, Gnome Runner runs all the way up top. Just in case the Cav don't make it in next turn, I can send Gnome Runner into the Demonic Engine. Hopefully that all works out for me. And that's it for movement. There's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into the Scourge of Wrath, and he's a little outclassed, not gonna lie. And there's a better picture of the Cav slamming into the Furies, and hopefully I'll overrun into the engine. That's the hope. And there's the good old boy slamming into the Slaughterers, and I feel pretty good about this one, especially with Skaz in there and everything. I'm hoping that I can do a lot of damage to these guys and make them, if nothing else, you know, a moot point. And as you can see, Bow Wowzer's in there to block his hounds from flank charging me. So it might work out. We'll see. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Cheapskate back on the damn table, which is awesome. I position him so he can breath weapon at the cannon. I know it's a, you know, snowball's chance in hell, but hey, it's a chance. And I just love getting this guy on the table. He's a free monstrous beast with a breath weapon. I love this thing. That's it for magic. We go into shooting, and I fire with the left side, Scratapult, and misfire. Of course, it's a misfire 2, which means no more pew-pew from this one. Oh well. We go into close combat, and my beautiful, beautiful Tusker Cav are able to impact hit the Furies to death, and then overrun into the Demonic Engine. So far, this unit is doing everything I want it to do. Then over here, the good old boys really take it to these guys. I do end up losing a couple of my tribesmen in return, but I think I killed 12 to 13 of these guys. And that's with Sex Panther making a lot of saves, and he did. He made a ton of them. But all in all, I won this combat. He loses maybe 1 or 2 more, and you know, it's going the right direction, so I'm not going to complain too much. And over here, this might be the greatest thing that's ever happened in the game. Lord Tremendous lives. He's able to live. And I do a ton of damage. As you can see, I did all but 1 wound to the Scourge. Got lucky as hell. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. I made a bunch of saves. I made like 6 saves. It was insane. No, I made 4 saves out of 6. Which was huge, and I was able to do a whole bunch of wounds. I won this combat. He did take 1 wound because of that's how I got the 5, and we're stuck there for another round. So awesome! I thought he was dead, and instead he's gonna hold him up for a full turn. That's points well spent. And not able to take any more miracles, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement. The Crushers charge the Trappers again. The Trappers flee because I choose life. They tried to pass their leadership to charge the Yetis and failed. So, how about that? His BSB is way over on the far right corner of his slaughter, so he was out of range. And he had to go after the Trappers, and he did not make it. Again, the Stalker Standard helps him not take any dangerous terrain. What can you do? And we go on to the rest of his movement, which is very slight. The Hellhounds charge Bow Wowzer, who stays and takes it. That's his job. And his cannon turns to face, what's it called? Gnome Runner. He wants to try to kill him off, or Rufus or Elf Eater. I think it's either Rufus or Gnome Runner. I can't remember which, but he's going to shoot at one of them. Other than that, everything else he had is in combat, so short movement phase. There's a better picture of his Crushers failing to charge against the Trappers, which is awesome that he failed that leadership check. But there's a better picture of his Hounds slamming into Bow Wowzer, and while it was a sacrifice play, it always hurts me to lose my dog. There's no magic still, so we go straight into shooting, and he fires at Rufus and misfires 2 this time. So no more cannon shots this game. Yeah, the Dice Gods, sometimes they love me, sometimes they piss on me, and right now they seem to love me. Must be the holidays. So we go into combat, and once again, I'm not able to do anything to him because he makes all of his saves, which is frustrating. Believe it or not, Lord Tremendous flubs every single one of his attacks, but the Tusker wounds twice and fails, or he makes both of his saves. So what can you do? In return, he only does 1 wound back. I got lucky as hell twice. Lord Tremendous is a beast, but I don't think his luck is going to last much longer. So I'm just so pleased I've held this guy up for 3 combat turns. Over here, Bow Wowser eats Crow, and that's a shame. However, he does take one of the Hellhounds with him, so quite pleased with that performance. They just kind of reform a little bit, as you can see right here. Speaking of seeing, so Skaz ends up in a challenge with his BSB. He's got scarification on him, which means my opponent needs 5s or better in order to wound him. Hits and wounds 4 times. No problem. So Skaz, true to form, eats dirt. Oh, look, a penny! Meanwhile, though, the good old boys, rallied by Skaz's death, murders like 20 of those guys. I win this combat by a ton. And when my opponent rolls his instability check, all but the BSB is dead. The BSB actually takes a wound. So things are looking good here. Over here, though, things take a real left turn. One of my calves do nothing except for die. I take 4 wounds from the demonic engine. My impact hits, he makes every single one of his saves. Not 1 wound gets through. The riders themselves weren't able to do any damage. The Tuskers, they did like 4 wounds. He made every single one of his saves. It was enough to make me sick. I lose this combat, and we break. And I get away at least, but what the flurick? Come on! That's why we call him Sex Panther, though, because 65, 70, 80% of the time, his ward saves work every time. So with that over and done with, here's top of 3 after movement, and it's time to go all out, right? So, yeah, my Yetis and my BSB charge into the Crushers. I figure, why not? I take a couple of wounds. My BSB takes... just the Yetis. I take 1 wound onto the Yetis from Dangerous Terrain because I do not have the Stalker Standard. What's it called? Elf Eater goes into the Hellhounds and takes a wound for his trouble because of the Dangerous Terrain from the Forest. I did take 4, failed 1. Rufus turns around to face the Hounds because I'm thinking, Elf Eater's going to blow through the Hounds, go past, and then Rufus is going to be able to flank charge the Crushers in the flank, next turn. Hopefully that all works out, so that's why I turned him like that. Gnome Runner slams into the Demonic Engine because somebody's got to kill the damn thing. The Cav continue to flee. They go through the house, take more dangerous terrain. Another one dies. And my Scratapult on the left side, since it can no longer shoot, it just moves up slightly to either go after the Scourge or the Crushers, depending on what is the better target at the time. So that's it for movement. Also, my trappers that were fleeing did not rally and ran off the table, just in case you were curious where they went. It's been a day. There's a better picture of my Yetis and Khan slamming into the Crushers and Elf Eater slamming into the Hellhounds. And there's a better picture of Gnome Runner slamming into the Demonic Engine. Hopefully he does better than the Cav with the rubber iron fists. There's a better picture of my Cav fleeing through the house. One, of course, ends up part of the house. And with nothing happening to Magic or shooting, we go straight into combat. Magic's dead and my shooting missed. So, we start off over here, and Gnome Runner knocks it out of the damn park. I don't know what it is with Hunters on Tuskers, but they're my bread and butter. Just slammed this guy, got all but 1 wound off on him. I think he did 5 wounds total to him, took nothing in return. I won combat by a lot, but my opponent, I believe, was able to make his check no problem, and turned to face me also with no problem. So... I think I've still got him, but you know what? I would have said that about a lot of things in this game, so I'm just going to ride it out, see what happens. So over here, my opponent issues a challenge. I refuse. We attack. I do nothing to him because he makes all his saves. He kills 1 guy. So he's got 3 wounds, BSB, and the BSB, I believe, is the war standard. I have no wounds and a standard. I lose by 4, and these guys are only leadership 7. I break, I get run down, and to make matters worse, Rufus panics, flees away from the Hellhounds. They were closer, and flees through the house, takes 4 wounds from the DT3s. Oh, man. And the game has turned. On a slightly better note, Elf Eater is able to demolish the Hellhounds. Him and Shy were able to take them down with little to no resistance. Killed them all, had to overrun because he's frenzied, took 1 wound because of dangerous terrain. All in all, not bad. Exactly what I wanted him to do. Wish I had put him into something more substantial, but beggars can't be choosers. So this combat over here, ugly and stupid, and I realize that right now. His crushers, I do a bunch of wounds. I do about 10 wounds to his unit in total. He's able to save all of them. My BSB flubbed his attacks. He ends up in a challenge with his character in this unit. Flubs all of his attacks. He's got the sword, he's got the obsidian sword, he's got the divine icon. Should have been able to take him out no problem. Nope. I rolled nothing but 1s and 2s to hit. It was glorious. The damage I did to his unit, he was able to save with armor and ward. In return, I take like 11 wounds. I'm not steadfast, I'm not stubborn, I'm not intelligent. I lose this combat by a boatload. I break and I get run down. Absolutely no problem. So, yeah, this was really stupid. I should not have done this, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. And actually, if my opponent had not made all of his saves like a friggin' warlock, I might have actually had a chance here. Curse you, Sex Panther. Cheapskate attacked his cannon, I completely forgot about that, and wasn't able to do anything to him. Maybe a wound. In return, Cheapskate takes a wound, charge flank wound to wound. He takes his check and makes it no problem. He does not, however, make his check to turn and face me. So, I guess, take the victories where you can. And then Lord Tremendous blah, blah, finally eats it. I think he did 4 or 5 wounds to me in this one, and I think I still made like 3 saves, which was super impressive, but he only had 1 wound left, he had no way to heal, and this guy strikes first at Initiative Infinity. So, what can you do? I took my lumps, I ate it, and the fact that Lord Tremendous held up the Scourge of Wrath for 4 combat turns is absolutely outstanding. Worth every point of that sacrifice, and the fact that the thing only has 1 wound left, I might actually kill it this turn, or this game, if I have anything that survives long enough to attack it. So, the hits keep on coming. Here's bottom of 3 after movement. His Scourge, now freed up from Lord Tremendous, slams into my defunct Scratapult. His Crushers go after the other Scratapult. They both make it in no problem. His BSB charges my Tusker Cav, who flee and get away. And that's it. Everything else he has is in combat, so God, things are turning on me too fast to adapt to. Good on my opponent, though. There's a better picture of his Scourge and his Crusher slamming into my Scratapults, and that's going to be pretty one-sided. And there's a better picture of the Tusker Cav continuing to shriek in terror of the one lone Harbinger of Wrath, even though he is covered in the blood and entrails of over a dozen ogres. So I guess I would probably flee from that too. No magic or shooting to talk about, so we go straight into combat, and the Scourge of Wrath scourges. Oh, man. Just completely destroys the cannon, or the Scratapult, no problem. I'm not surprised, are you? Then pretty much more of the same over here. His Crushers are able to just destroy my Scratapult. I do nothing in return, because I honestly don't believe he even gets the attempt to attack, and if he did, then he made his checks, no problem. Either way, I die, and the Crushers turn to face Elf Eater, because he's the biggest threat on the table right now that's not currently fleeing. Smart move. Over here, Cheapskate does his best, but he gets killed by the cannon guy. The blood chariot or whatever it is, and that's a shame. But he held him up for a couple of turns, and it was just fun to have him on the table. I like summoning him. The one piece of good news on the ogre side of the table is that I am able to get the last wound through with Gnome Runner onto the demonic engine and kill it. So at least it won't be a total slaughter of the ogres. I'm gonna get some of my licks into. And again, the Hunters on the Tuskers, there where the money's at, what can I tell you? So here's top of 4 after movement, and I'm scared to death. I'm not even going to lie to you. The Elf Eater kind of turns around. I don't really know where to put him, to be perfectly honest. There's no good charges for him at all. I do send Gnome Runner into the BSB just to pick those points up. I figure he can take them no problem. Rufus rallies and turns to face. The Tusker Cav do not rally, and they continue to flee. They don't go off the table, but they're headed that direction. Well, that's it for movement. We go straight into this combat, okay? Charge and a flank is all I'm able to do. He makes every single one of his saves. It's really discouraging. In return, I think he does a wound or two to me. I'm not 100% on that. He wins this combat by 1. I need an 8 to stick around, and I break, and I get away. He does chase. I get away, but it's his turn next, and guess what happens? Yep, you guessed it. We go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and Gnome Runner betrays my trust. He gets charged by the BSB. He only flees like 5 inches. It's not very far. The BSB goes like boxcars, runs him down like the cattle that he was, and that's it. So Gnome Eater's dead, and that's a damn shame. For the rest of his movement, though, there's not a whole lot. His cannon holds back, his Scourge kind of holds back, and his Crushers are still dead set on going after Elf Eater. Honestly, between everyone in the world that's going to watch this, I think my opponent felt bad for me and started backing off. I gotta be perfectly honest, because there was no reason for him to be so cautious with his movement. I think he just felt bad, and that's why he held off. And can't fault him for having a heart, you know? I don't know what that's like, but we'll work on that. The Sex Panther's a very nice guy. There's a better picture of Gnome Runner dying, and it is what it is. He really did well this game, so I can't really fault him. Just had some bad luck. You know, when you go up against Sex Panther's saves, you're taking your life in your own hands, and unfortunately, his life is forfeit. So that brings us over here to top of 5 after movement, and I'm now in point denial mode. Elf Eater runs over towards the right flank. Rufus stays right where he's at so he can shoot, maybe do something. There are a couple of Ogre crossbows. Maybe I'll get lucky. And the Tusker Cav guys rally. So, you know what? They're back on my good list instead of the naughty list. And, well, it doesn't really matter what list you're on. I'm very fickle. It's probably better to be on the good list. That's it for movement. Nothing else happens in my turn, so we go to bottom of 5. His guys move forward, and that's it. His BSB does run down the hill and gets behind Rufus to charge him next turn, so maybe he's not feeling that bad for me anymore. But that's where we end up, and really that's it for this turn as well. We go over here to top of 6, and since there ain't no quit in me, I charge. Elf Eater tried to charge the Crushers and failed. Rufus and the Tusker Cav tried to charge his Scourge, and only the Tusker Cav made their charge. Everything else failed. The idea here was, screw it, I got nothing to lose. I'm not going to win by standing back, so let's see what happens. Unfortunately, only the Cav made it, but the Cav made it into the 1 wound remaining Scourge with basically 3d6 worth strength 5 hits. Hopefully that's enough to take this thing down. That's really what I'm banking on, because that could be a 1,000-point swing. That's it for movement. Or there's a properly epic picture of the Tusker Cav making it into the Scourge, and I really hope that works out for me. There was nothing else to do. We went straight into combat, and wouldn't you have it known, 2 impact hits, 1 got through. 2 wounds from impact hits, 1 got through, killing the Scourge. Oh, thank you, Lord Tremendous, for making this possible. Please, baby Tremendous, come back and just destroy all demons. So the Tusker Cav get the spare, and then they overrun into the Crushers because I want to see what they can do. I saw them bounce off the Demon Engine. I've never used Tusker Cav before in a serious, in a game this size anyway. I wanted to see what they could do, and I'm not going to find that by playing them conservatively. So they charge, hit the flank of the Crushers, and hopefully they impress me. We will see. So here is bottom of 6 after movement, and his cannon chariot tried to charge Elf Eater and failed. His BSB, however, charged Rufus and made it no problem. That is it for movement. There's a better picture of his cannon failing a charge in Elf Eater, and it was a long charge. It was a crapshoot. But still, I would have done the same thing. And there's a better picture of his BSB about to kill Rufus. I have very little delusions about what's going to happen here. We jump straight into combat, and the Tusker Cav do really well. They're able to kill a Crusher. They did a lot of wounds, actually. Again, my opponent was making a bunch of saves. Didn't make all of them, though. I kill a Crusher. In return, they're able to do nothing back. He does make his crumble check no problem, and we're pretty much stuck like that. Over here, his BSB has no problem putting the final couple of wounds on Rufus before I can do anything. Even at -3 initiative, he went before everything. Killed Rufus dead, and it's sad. Rufus had a real bad game this game. It sucks. And with that, there it is. There's the end of the game. Not a whole lot of Ogre left on the table. I got Elf Eater and Shy and my Tusker Calf. Half my Tusker Calf. Everything else is, a fine red paste. Probably all over the ground. In return, though, he didn't come away from this unscathed. He's got his Crushers, a couple of characters, and his cannon. So while he did better than me, much better than me, I still feel pretty good about this. I do know where the mistakes were made. I do see some kit changes. I want to make some of my characters, but all in all, I like the way the list played. I like the way it felt, and I think I'm going to continue with the Wild Heart direction. Just until I see something else shiny I want to try. But right now, I'm enjoying this, and I think I need more practice with it. But I'm going to get plenty of that before March, especially. But you know what? That's it for this. Let's get over to the recap because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, as I'm sure you've already figured out, this was a defeat for Lord Tremendous. I got 3,120 out of him. He got 3,543 out of me for a difference of 423 points. I lost a lot. I lost Lord Tremendous, Gnome Runner, Skaz, Khan, the good old boys, my Yeti, Bow Wowzer, my Trappers, and Rufus. All I had left was Elf Eater and my Cav. Oof. Ooh. But you know what? Still, damn good game. I'm gonna need some ice after this one. This was a rough fight from turn 1, though. I mean, it was difficult. Lord Tremendous slamming in the Discourage and hold them up 2 full turns. Even though he died in the end, that was huge. That was the only reason that this game was close as opposed to just a complete slaughter. The good old boys breaking against the BSB, that sucked. But that's what Sex Panther's known for, making the saves and breaking your spirit. And he lived up to his reputation this game. Can't fault him at all. That was excellent gameplay on his part. The Tusker Cav and Rufus fleeing really kind of solidified my opponent's victory. I really needed my monsters in this game more, and I did not utilize them correctly, and the panicking really sucked. Elf Eater and Shy did really well. I can't complain at all. I mean, they didn't really get a chance to shine or anything. All they did was run into some Hellhounds. I wish I had utilized them better. I wish I had combo charged the Crushers with them. But that's why we play these training games, these practice games, so that when it comes to the tournament, I don't make these stupid mistakes. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. All in all, though, I'm liking the Wild Heart list. I have no complaints. I thought I was really going to miss the cannons. I thought I was really going to miss the Merc Vets, but I'm finding that I'm enjoying the mobility of this list more than I enjoyed the cannonballs and the Merc Vets. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not 100% sold on it. I still need to tweak the character kits. Those have to change real drastically, so I'm excited to try the new kits I have for some of the characters. Still love Shamanism. I know a lot of people are going away from Magic, and that's fine. I get it. But Shamanism really helps my army a lot, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying not seeing as many Wizards on the table, too. It's helping a lot. A lot of misfires in this game. Between the Scratapult and the Cannon misfiring, they really didn't do anything this game, so I'm glad I don't take the Scratapults on the regular. The one shot that I did get off did kill a handful of the Slaughterers, but who cares? I preferred the rest of the stuff on the table over my artillery. As always, though, I'm aware, just real quick, I know that neither of us had legal core or bad. That'll be fixed by next time we have a one-on-one game. But this is still a great game against a great opponent, and I'm very much looking forward to our legal rematch. Real quick, guys, I want to say a quick thank you to everybody that supports me financially through Patreon, PayPal, and other means. I do have a decent amount of supporters. I don't have permission to use all their names. Some people want to donate anonymously, and I respect that. But these are the individuals that allow me to thank them on my channel. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, Daniel Jolson, and Caillou Choi. Thank you guys very, very much. I hope I continue to be worthy of your donations. And anybody who wants to donate, support the channel, support the hobby, feel free to go to my Patreon, my PayPal, or contact me directly, and we can work something out. Really do appreciate it, guys, and thank you. But that's it, guys. That's it for this battle report. Number 53 is officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Again, I'm sorry I broke my mic. I am working on getting another headset. But I wanted to get a battle report out. It had been a long time. I missed doing it, and I wanted to talk to you. Feel free to flame on about it in the comment section. I know the audio's bad, but damn it, at least I got a battle report out there. So you're welcome. Yeah, guys. Thanks.